friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me discussing the DNF book tag. I was tagged by lovely Andrea. I don't know who else has done this tag, so I don't know who to tag, but if you haven't done it, I'll tag you at the end. Before we get in the video, I just want to apologize for the very clear kind of like random things on my shelves right now. My bathroom is undergoing some maintenance, so all my bathroom stuff is on my table, on my shelves, on the floor. But let's just kind of get into it. I believe there's like, what, 10 questions? I want to say 9. So the first question is, do you DNF? And yes, I definitely DNF. I think it's a healthy form of self-love. Great for the mental health. I think we should DNF more just because, like, think about it as the Marie Kondo of reading books. If it does not serve you happiness, get rid of it. Go say goodbye. Question number 2 is, if you DNF a book, does it count towards books read for the month? This is a little controversial, I know, but I do count it for the books read that I've for the month, just because, one, I spent hours, multiple hours on a book, and whether I got to page 30 or page 160 out of 200 and DNF from whichever point, I spent time on it. Therefore, I read it during the month. Whether or not I finished it is up for debate, but I read it, so therefore it counts. The book counts, and we are going to accept the fact that the book counts. And that way it looks good on my Goodreads goals. Question 3, is there a difference between DNF and just putting it down for a bit? Yes, but a very, very fine line. I find that once you're going to put a book down for a bit, I'm expecting you to pick it up probably within the next year. Just because it's one of those things where it's like, if you found yourself uninterested in the book and then you put it down and don't pick it up within the next year, there's a very slim chance, very slim, that you're going to pick it up in the future. You might as well have just DNF'd it. Whereas DNF, which means did not finish for those who are not in the book community, it means you just didn't finish it, you have no plans of picking it up in the future, and it is going away, going far, far away. Whether you went haul or you shove it in the back of your closet and never look back, that's up to you. But it does not belong on your shelves. So I just think that if you put a book down and you're not planning on picking it back up again in the near future or even in the next year, it's a DNF. Just call it what it is. It's DNF. Then the next question is, what popular book have you DNF'd? I'm gonna have to say Shadowfrost by Coco Ma. I don't know how popular this book actually is. It seems like, I feel like I've seen a couple of people already have the chance to pick it up and read it. I stopped at 25%. I said no and continued. If you guys do not know what Shadowfrost by Coco Ma is, it's a YA high fantasy following this young princess who is able to control all these elements that only a certain amount of people can control, and they can only control a certain number of elements. She's able to control all of them, which means she might be able to stop the monster committing the killings in her kingdom. That is, only if she can control the powers. Now, it sounded interesting. I read it for a buddy with Sarah, and then we read it, and it was just, there was a lot of random things. Like, I appreciated that she was powerful right off the bat. We knew there was no magical discovery. It's just her kind of building up her powers and us sitting here going, yep, she is OP. She's OP to the max. But then it just got too straight. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, Therese, look at some of the things on your shelves. Some of the things on your shelves are very straight. So how can something be too straight? You see, that's where the problem is. It just got too straight, and then there was like some weird backstory stuff that I did not enjoy, so I DNF'd. And Sarah even DNF'd it earlier than I did. I pushed through to 25% thinking that it was going to get better. And then I got there and I was like, nope, she gotta go. She gotta go. And I have never looked back since or felt bad about it. Question number 5 is, what book did you wish you had DNF'd? Everyone knows this book. I have talked about my strong dislike for this book for the past year. And that is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is an adult high fantasy novel following multiple perspectives. Basically, it was categorized as high fantasy with dragons and lesbians. And that's kind of what sold me for this and what sold Sarah and I for this. It is a 600-page book. 600 page, not including the index or the glossary or the history book in the back. Let that sink in. We were so excited because we were like, high fantasy, yes, adult, yes. Lesbians, yes. And then we read it and we were like super into it. We were like, oh yeah, you know, it's gonna be super interesting, super fun. It's super accessible for an adult high fantasy, especially one that is as thick as it was. And then we got into it, and then we continued to get into it, and you know, lesbians can only take you. There was a lot of instances where we found ourselves not really sure what was going on. The world building was just confusing to the max, and we found ourselves really kind of questioning the history in the background. And a lot of the times, if we didn't want to go back and read the index and the sources in the back, we found ourselves just not knowing anything. Which I feel like, as much as I love having history books and indexes and pronunciation glossaries and whatever in the back for resources to look back on after information has been presented, when things aren't presented at all, it makes me wonder why I have to know this stuff, which means I'm not going to go back and look at it very frequently. So we finished the book. We finished the books. We finished it. I think we sold a piece of our souls to finish the book because we ended up hating it. Like, even the ending, like, we kept going. We were like, it's going to wrap up quite nicely. Battle scenes are going to be great. Lesbians will get a happy ending. It'll be wonderful. Then we got there and the battle scenes lasted maybe like a paragraph long. We didn't know what was going on, and then the lesbians, they were together in theory, but I'm angry at this book, and I'll continue to be angry at this book because I spent a good 2 months of my life trying to read this book and enjoy it because I was like, lesbians and dragons and adult high fantasy and yay. But no, that was not anything that I got. Instead, it was a lot of confusion, and yeah. This book will probably sit on the top of my I wish I had DNF'd at like 30%, because this was like 600 pages worth of like absolutely confusion and nothing. And that's saying something, because I have read a lot of books on these shelves that are literally nothing on paper. But I mean, the author has a wonderful writing style and can create very complex worlds, so I might pick up stuff in the future, like some of her works in the future. However, very hesitant to do that. Very hesitant. Number 6 is, do you ever reattempt to read a DNF? Has this ever been successful to you? And the answer is no. No. I find that trying to reread or re-enter a DNF is a lot like trying something you're allergic to. Like, I am lactose intolerant and I happily eat cheese. I cannot get rid of cheese or any kind of dairy or ice cream, but then I suffer for it. And all I really had was a temporary experience of enjoying said dairy. And at the moment it's nice, but in the long run, when I'm curled into a ball drinking warm tea and gassier than a popped air balloon, probably not the best thing in the long run. I mean, I still do eat dairy and I still do suffer the consequences, but like, if I can lessen how many things I choose for myself that I suffer for, re-entering a DNF would be one of them. It would be one of them. Like, I hated the book in the beginning, so like, what makes you think that I will enjoy a book as I am older? Because that's not the case. I just, when it's gotta go, it's gotta go. You know, it's not like the cute shirt that you found on the rack that like somewhat looks okay on you, and then you find that it looks better as like you find things that work with it. Nor is it the boy, the person that you're kind of hesitant about, but you kind of like, so you go on more dates with them, and then you find that, you know, there's a healthy budding relationship out of it. It's not that. Once the DNF happens, the book that I DNF'd gets to find a new home. There's no re-entry, repeat. It's not a video game. There's no multiple lives that it has to go through. It just goes. Sometimes I wonder if my neighbor can hear me, and exactly how crazy he thinks because I am talking to a camera. Not that he knows that I'm talking to a camera, but he just hears me scream about books for at least like a couple hours once a week. If I'm vlogging, once a day. So like, I wonder, but at the same time I don't really care because I haven't really. Number 7 is, what do you do with books that you DNF? I give them away. If I did not like the book, no matter how if I DNF'd a book, I don't care if it like completes a series or an author. like an author collection. If I did not like it, I'm gonna give it away to someone who will. And you know, my mind's mean enough to me already. It really is. I have anxiety, depression. I love to gaslight myself, professional gaslighter. So like if I can reduce the amount of things that I dislike and that my brain can pinpoint in my mind and remind me of like negative emotions, I will do that. Hence why all these books, most of these books are books that I enjoy and that I like. So if I DNF'd a book, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to DNF. I've literally almost finished a book before I DNF'd it. But it takes a lot for me to DNF. And for me to DNF, it means I did not like it. I did not want to finish it. I don't want to know what happens. So if that's the case, then that means it does not have a place on the shelves. It's gotta go, and that's okay. So I donate them. I sell them to my secondhand bookstore, whatever. But then it finds a new home, someone who will love it more than I, and someone who can display it lovingly on the shelves without getting that weird bitter taste in their mouth when they look at it. Question number 8 is, do you choose more or less risky titles? Oh, let me just read that question actually because I did not read it all the way through. Okay. Question 8, do you choose more or less risky titles because of your stance on DNF? It takes a lot for me to DNF a book. Not because I'm like stubborn about it. I am stubborn about it. But I find that sometimes there's always a redeeming quality about a book, whether it's the ending, the climax, also for the fact that I spent most of the books that I have on these shelves, I have spent money on, or friends have spent money on them. So I do, like when people ask me about books I want for like Christmas or like their birthday, anniversary, whatever, I typically try to give them a list of books that I know I will like off the gate. Because then I feel less bad for having them buy me things that I may or may not like. Because then it's like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed this book, so therefore I will not throw it away. I will keep it because I liked it, because I knew I was going to like it from the beginning. For myself, I like to risk it with books. I like to look at books and see books that I enjoy, books that I like, or like books that sound interesting to me, and then buy them. Sometimes, depending on the book, I do try to borrow the library book first, so it's free and I can try it, like a free trial, before I actually buy it. Or if I can't find it in the library, I try to find it secondhand, so that way it is cheaper. And if I don't like a book, that I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, I spent $30 on a book that I despise, and it's just gonna sit there because I spent $30 on a book. I mean, I don't mind donating books too, but like they still stay on my shelves for a little bit, and I do mention them a little bit on my channel because, like, you know, TBRs, wrap-ups, books of the week, it's supporting books of the month, of the year, so like they pop up. So like, you know, I try to minimize the books. Like if I have a very risky stance on a book, like I don't know whether or not to buy it or if I'll like it, I'll probably look it up on Goodreads and look at reviews, see if anyone else has read it before I buy it. I typically am a little bit riskier with books, but at the same time I'm also like, this is my money, I don't have a lot of money, let's not. But I do risk it every now and again. Just depends on my mood and how big my paycheck looks. Question number 9 is, tag 5 booktubers. Now I don't know who has or has not done this yet, but if I don't find anyone who has not done this yet, then I tag anyone who is watching who has not done this yet. But if I do, I will leave them right here, and they can go ahead and do it and have some fun. But until next time, hit like, subscribe, comment. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a hot minute since I've done a tag, and I forgot how like relaxing tags can be. Just to kind of scream into a camera about books, answering questions, and questions that I did not have to think of for myself. So it was very nice, very relaxing, soothing. But again, if you guys want me to do more tags, let me know down below and I will go ahead and do them for you. But until next time, hit like, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video, whenever that is. But until then, hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and if not, hopefully the rest of the week gets better for you. Bye!